Welcome to Better Bets, where we bet better. My name's Alec,
I'm Gage.
and what a week 6 in the NFL.
You know what? We're gonna get into everything that went down, but I'm so glad that I was wrong that the Buccaneers didn't whoop my Steelers.
I was watching that game thinking about you, bro. Especially when the Steelers jumped out to an early lead.
Ooh, that felt good.
I was like, man, Tampa Bay is struggling. Brady wasn't even at practice on Saturday.
A lot of drop passes. Like we definitely were the better team. We didn't
It was an ugly game. Ugly game, but
Yeah.
you were the better team, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when Pickett went down, I was like, oh, here comes another Brady comeback. Steelers are going to cover.
Yep. And then Trubisky.
He actually looked pretty solid. He did a decent job.
He looked like Trubisky. He did what he needed to do. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
So happy about that. But what about you?
I don't know. When I went into the week, it just seemed like I was riding high coming off of an 8-0 week. So I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach like, where am I going to get beat? Am I going to get beat down this week? Like, I don't know. I feel like you just have a feeling like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And luckily enough, 4-1 on the week for confirmed locks.
Yeah.
But, man, I did get beat really bad in one of my breakdowns, and that was with the 49ers. And I thought Kyle Shanahan would have his team looking right.
I think we all thought that was going to happen, and it was just disappointing. I went 3-2 this week. That I had that as a lock also, and it didn't pan out.
Not only did it not pan out, for one, they scored so many points in the first half. It was 35 points, I believe, in the first half.
Yeah, 21-14.
And the total was sitting at like 44 and a half, 45.
Mm-hmm.
Early touchdown, second half, 28-14. You think that thing's going to fly over, and then nothing.
Yep.
And for a second there, you texted me, and you're like, 49ers look terrible. Like, it's early.
And
they
then
came back, tied
they
the game.
scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yep. I was golfing. I was like, oh, this is coming out. This is going to be good. And then next thing I know, 28-14. And I was like, Garoppolo. You could tell they missed Nick Bosa this weekend.
They had nothing on defense, and that's one thing I overlooked, looking at the matchup, looking at the trends, looking at the history. You know, the product that is out there on the field does matter also, regardless of what history and trends say. What you have on the field matters, and Marcus Mariota, he wasn't tearing them up throwing the ball, but he tore them up with his legs.
Yeah, no, he beat them for sure, and that was the big factor, one of the bigger factors in the game for sure.
And their third down conversions.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. One game I want to recap a little bit also was that Bills game. I had that game read like a book.
Did you go under?
Under.
You ended up going under? I went over. Didn't work out. That was my second L of the week. But
Bills by the 2.5. My confirmed pick on my Betters Bet show on YouTube with Malik, Moxie. I took them by the spread. On my actual ticket, I did take the money line. Hit both ways.
There you go.
Hit both ways.
You can't be mad about that.
Oh, absolutely not. And it was there should have been so many more points. 3 red zone trips early in the game to come away with nada. Like instantly, once that happened, I was like, this is an under game.
Yeah. There's 2 more at least that I want to get into. The first one being how bad did the Green Bay Packers look against the New York Giants? That's 2 losses in a row to a New York football team.
Man, we talked about, Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers are going to run the ball, is what we were saying.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball.
We were hoping.
Well, they did try to run the ball. They tried. It didn't pan out.
No.
Saleh kept them receipts.
For sure.
He kept them receipts, and he is showing everybody what the New York Jets can be.
The Jets are real this year, man. 4-2?
Yeah, 4-2.
4-2, then the Giants are 5-1. New York is putting on a show this year.
5-1. It is nutty. The NFC East is nutty. You have Dallas 4-2, Giants 5-1, Eagles 6-0.
Yeah.
AFC East, you got Bills 5-1, Jets 4-2, Miami and New England are what, 3-3?
Yeah, I believe so. And it's still
Double,
close. I mean,
let me double check that really quickly
as
because
you do,
I did give
yeah.
some incorrect stats last
As you
week.
look that up, speaking of the AFC East,
Mhm.
my biggest lock of the week, what I told everybody to put their money on, I had people calling me and saying like, "Am I gonna do this?" I said, "Absolutely." Patriots over Browns,
That's a good
money,
call.
money.
I thought you were being emotional, just wanting to bet against the Browns, but
No,
they put in that
I
work. I took the
told you,
over in
man. I
that.
mean, you're a Pats fan. You should know this. Bailey Zappi's looking solid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't like betting emotionally. I will never bet on my team just because they're my team.
Yeah, I
If
don't
it
either.
doesn't
I don't
match
either.
what I'm looking for, I don't touch it. Took the total on that though.
Did you?
Yeah, squeaked over. I mean, it didn't look great, and then at the end, it felt like it took forever for that game to end,
Yeah.
and then the points just kept getting scored. But as I'm looking up this match, or not matchup, but I'm looking up the standings here, and of course ESPN didn't want to give me NFL. There it is, standings.
What's it say?
Yep, we were right. Buffalo 5-1, Jets 4-2, New England and Miami 3-3.
Well, I know it's wild with the Bills being, they're gonna win the division. There's no way the Jets are gonna pull it out. But the Jets keeping it close like that, like they're gonna pull. At least right now, if they can keep the consistency, they're gonna have a playoff seed for sure.
I mean, they could get a
Defense is looking
wild card.
solid. Secondary's looking solid.
I mean, the wild cards probably. I mean, it's either coming out of the AFC West, the AFC North, or the AFC East. We're leaving the AFC South out of there. I mean, they're bunched up right now, but
Garbage.
only the division winner, I believe, is coming out of
Yeah.
the South. Colts don't. It's probably going to be Tennessee, if we're being honest. Colts just don't look strong.
No, and Matt Ryan can't be trusted down the stretch.
But everyone that was doubting the Colts last week, I just wanted to say
I
the
was.
home team. That trend continues for now 10 straight matchups. The home team has won every single game.
With those two.
Yep. If it's in Jacksonville, Jacksonville's won. If it's in Indianapolis, the Colts have won. Let's go ahead and let's get into week 7.
Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Let's hear it.
Before we actually get into Thursday night, though, I just want to touch on the Thursday night game we talked about last week and how
Oh my
we
God.
were dead wrong.
So wrong. You have an interception in the red zone. They go for it on fourth down. The other team turnover on downs. I mean, that's 14 points right there we should have had, or at least 6.
There
right?
was definitely missed opportunities, missed points on the board. Again, fading the public does not always work. Again, like I said earlier, the product on the field does matter.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see the product at quarterback this week for Washington.
Heineke, ooh, we talked about it last week,
Yep.
and I think it kind of we spoke it into existence a little bit.
Yep.
No one saw the injury coming to Carson Wentz. I thought it would be a coaching decision, something along those lines. Injury forcing this situation, but maybe Heineke gets the job and just doesn't give it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
He balled out last year, and I'm hoping he gets the chance to do so again this year.
Yep.
But let's move back into the Thursday night Week 7 matchup. We got the Saints at the Cardinals. Cardinals are sitting at 1.5-point favorites. 56% of the tickets are on the Cardinals, but 64% of the money sitting on the Saints. You have the total sitting right now at 44.5, opened at 47. 71% of the money 71% of the bets is on the under, 79% of the money on the under. And then you have 65% of the bets on the Cardinals to win money line, although you have 78% of the money on the money line for the Saints. I like this matchup. I really do. And I like the Saints in the matchup. However, I don't think I'm going to touch a side this game. I got burnt I didn't get burned on the side last week. It was the Commanders' victory. They came out. But I am going to go against the public again this week. And I do not think a Thursday night game is going to go 1 over 6 unders because it's sitting at 1 over 5 unders right now. I believe this game goes over that 44.5.
I'm as far as how Arizona's looked last week, didn't score that much against Seattle. You mentioned earlier off camera that they're getting back DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah.
and I'm praying. I don't know which way it's gonna go. I'm just praying we get a Thursday night game worth watching. The
There have
Saints
been
Saints
two
are always
stinkers.
fun. The Cardinals, they have some trickery, and Kyler Murray is always fun to watch. I think Kyler Murray and Taysom Hill are going to put on a show, hopefully for us on Thursday. Um, as far as like if I would touch this game, probably not. No locks here.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm locking it in. I do want to fade the under trend. I just like betting primetime games. It's the only game of the NFL you get.
Yeah,
So, I mean, regardless if it's a lock or not, I typically always bet Thursday night game, Sunday night game, Monday night game. Just for fun because I'm a degenerate and I like it.
just watching football might as well have some type of reward if it pans out.
Exactly. So, I'm not quite sure about a side as of now. I do love this over 44 and a half, especially with D-Hop coming back. Marquise Brown was injured.
Yep,
They did sign Robbie Anderson.
I saw
They
that.
traded for him. However, probably not enough time to get him into the lineup. Not enough time to learn the playbook.
Yeah, I don't think that he would be a factor if he was in or out. Anyways, I think with the way Arizona's defense has been, you know, they have good flashes, I would say. Right? So in New Orleans, I had them in my fantasy league last year defensively. Got them this year. They haven't really been doing too well fantasy wise. I think I like the under as well, but again, not too comfortable to say like I want to put my money on any of this. But I think Arizona squeaks away with it, just defensively.
Okay. I mean, anything can happen in the NFL on this game's a Thursday. I typically say on any given Sunday. But yeah, it's NFL. They're all professionals, and
Yep.
you never know what you're gonna get any week.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, look at the Steelers.
Look at the Steelers. That's what we
Look at the
like.
Steelers.
All right.
Uh,
Game 2, moving it to Sunday.
yes, the first game we're gonna take a look at is a divisional matchup.
AFC North.
Yes, sir. It is the Cleveland Browns playing in Baltimore. Its current spread sitting Baltimore 6.5 point favorites. 67% of the bets, 72% of the money laying on Baltimore. Got the total sitting at 45 and a half. 55% of the tickets and 64% of the money on the over.
Yep.
Total open at 44 and a half, so it has squeaked up a point. Then take a look at where the money lines are lying. You got 93% of the tickets on Baltimore, but 57% of the money lying on Cleveland money line. And this is your team's division. I'll go ahead and let you
Yeah.
take this away first. What do you
So,
think?
well, the thing is here with 93% of the bets on Baltimore, that's people I would say who are just betting based off of you say Baltimore Ravens, you say Cleveland Browns. In your head, you're like, oh, I'm going to take Ravens. But the way that the Baltimore Ravens have been blowing games and the way Cleveland has just been running the ball. Now, Baltimore's got a decent defense, don't get me wrong. I'm almost as confident in this game saying that Cleveland's going to win as I was as confident last week saying Cleveland was going to lose.
Really?
Yeah, I think with the way they've been playing and just how Baltimore, I don't know how to put it. Baltimore plays good, but it's like you never know how it's going to end up. As far as where the Browns are, you always know how they're going to play. They deliver, and when they lose because the other team somehow scores way more than them. But they always put up points.
Okay.
And I don't think Baltimore's defense is as good as Belichick's last week.
I mean, that's fair. Baltimore's definitely been struggling, especially in the secondary.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, down by
One
double
thing,
digits.
I mean, one thing to think about. Cleveland just lost at home. I mean, they've lost. What are they now? 1-3 at home this year,
Something like that.
and Baltimore just blew a lead to the Giants in New York. Another fourth quarter blown lead.
Yep. Is that 4?
3 or 4?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure off the top of my head, but it's 3 or 4.
We're spitballing. We don't got to be right all the time. We
Yeah.
know what we're saying.
But I don't know. I think that 93% of the bets laying on Baltimore money line is exactly that. when Baltimore and Browns play historically, Ravens win.
Yeah.
Ravens win. I think this may be a spot. Again, we're not going to be doing any locks. It is Tuesday as we are filming this. A little too early to get in some confirmed picks. I like seeing market movements. But I would be leaning towards a Cleveland cover here. I wouldn't be so ballsy.
On the spread?
Yeah, I wouldn't be so ballsy as to take Cleveland money line in this situation.
6.5 dogs. I mean, I would be comfortable also taking that. I just personally just not putting any money on it, but just saying I think Cleveland's going to come away with a win.
Fair enough. I definitely like seeing a 6.5 on the board. Maybe if you not with 72% of the money on the spread on Baltimore. So could we see that spread squeak up to 7.5? Possibly. And that's what I'd be hoping to look for, or I'd be hoping to see. That's what I'd be looking for. That's why I like waiting.
Yeah.
To get these confirmed plays, to get my bets in, just to see.
If it moves a little bit, maybe to 7.5.
How does the market affect the line? Where's the money laying? I love taking those factors into account when placing my tickets.
Yeah. Last thing about this game is I see it being probably a 3-point game in the final five minutes of the game.
Justin Tucker, probably a game winner. That's what I'd be thinking. I know you're leaning maybe Browns win.
Or Nick Chubb touchdown from the 20-yard line.
Possibly.
It's happened.
Possibly.
All right, moving on. Game 2 of the week, Tampa Bay at Carolina. Your ex-QB, Tom Brady. Let's hear it.
Another stinker of a game here. I'm not going to pay too much attention to this game during the course of the week. Tampa Bay's on a downtrend. Carolina's definitely on a downtrend. Just traded away Robbie Anderson, fired Matt Rule. Baker's not playing.
Probably going to get rid of McCaffrey.
They are looking to trade McCaffrey. I don't see anything good within this matchup. Tampa Bay sitting as 11-point favorites. 11 points is a lot of points in the NFL. Just look at last week as they were sitting at 8.5-point favorites, lost outright.
Damn right they lost outright.
I don't like it. However, we still will go over the game really quickly. I'll give you the numbers here. Tampa Bay's sitting at 11-point favorites. Carolina's 52% of the tickets. Tampa Bay is 52% of the money. Total sitting at 40.5 right now, opened at 41, so it has gone down 0.5 point. Bets on the over-under are sitting at 50-50. Interesting stat here, though, is Tampa Bay is 1 game over, 5 games under. Had 5 of their 6 games go under. There's no money statistics out right now, so I don't have anything to give you. But looking at the money line, 80% of the bets on Tampa Bay money line, 82% of the money.
Honestly, it's a fair way to go. I think Tom Brady's he's got a chip on his shoulder after last week. Did you see the video of him yelling at his team? We're better than this.
On the sideline?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I think they're going to come out swinging. They need to win this game. It should be an easy game, and they probably want to do it in scoring fashion. So I'm looking for Tampa Bay to come out with the W this week.
Okay, I like that. I like the fact that Tampa Bay probably wins, should I say.
Yeah.
I don't like the spread. Don't want to touch the total. I don't really care for this matchup. But moving on to the next one.
Yep.
Interesting matchup, actually.
Yeah, we got Marcus Mariota coming off of a W, going to Cincinnati against Joey B and the Bungles.
We have a 3-3 Atlanta Falcons team versus a 3-3 Cincinnati Bengals team. Bengals are going to be at home. Got beat on the Falcons last week, fading their 6-0 ATS. I am going to do it again this week. I'm going to fade their ATS. I'm going to look at a Bengals cover here.
6 points.
Yes.
All right, we'll read them the numbers. Let's see what it is, and then get into it.
64% of the tickets, 56% of the money sitting on Atlanta. Total sitting at 47.5.
It opened up at 43.5, though.
This thing has been hammered to the over. You have 87% of the tickets, 98% of the money on the over.
That's wild.
And remember, Cincinnati just got their first over for the season last week against the Saints. They were 0-5 to the under.
Yep.
So could there be a lot of points scored in this matchup? Absolutely. But I want to fade Atlanta at 6-0 ATS.
Okay, against the spread.
Yes. I don't know. I think I might probably end up like if they end up covering the 6 again this week, I would probably, regardless who they're playing next week, throw more down on Atlanta to fade them again. It's like it's like the roulette, roulette wheel or
6 points is a lot, man.
I mean, yeah,
Especially with teams that are both 3-3. You know, the Bengals should be a way better team than they are. Something's not clicking
they've
this
been
year for them.
one-dimensional. They've been
Yeah,
one-dimensional.
it's just not clicking for them. And a lot of me wants to say, I think the Bengals are going to take this in good fashion. But the way that Atlanta kind of pounded away at San Francisco last week, who's to say they're not going to do it again? You got 78% of the bets on Cincinnati money line, but 98% of the money on Atlanta. 98.
That's a reason why I see these numbers and how they're laying. Again, market is so early.
Yeah, it is Tuesday.
This is going to change. You have bets come in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way up into Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But as it lays right now, if this is what the numbers look like on a Saturday, I'd be taking Cincinnati to cover all day. The book would get absolutely demolished on this game. And if anything, I would probably say this game goes over. They pay the public their money on the total, and then Cincinnati covers and wins outright. They take all the public money on Atlanta to cover the spread. They take all the public money on Atlanta money line.
Yep.
But they pay out the public to the total. That's what I would guess. Looking at the next game, though, interesting matchup in the form of we have Dallas's defense against the Lions' high-powered
offense,
quote-unquote offense, high-powered. Detroit is traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys at home. And something interesting here is 55% of the bets and 86% of the money on the spread is on Detroit. 55% of the bets, 86% of the money is on Detroit to cover the 7 that Detroit is laying here this week.
That's pretty steep for Cooper Rush being at quarterback. Or is Dak coming back?
Dak's confirmed to start next week.
Dak is confirmed. I think he's going to come out shitty. I think he's going to come out rusty.
I think that's why this percentage actually looks like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think the same thing. 7 points is way too much for this week.
Keep your eye on this. Anyone watching this, you get these numbers here on Tuesday. Whenever you watch it, before Sunday, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be a lot of late money coming in on Dallas. A lot of Dallas fans slamming their cash down on the counter.
Yeah.
Dak's back. Dak's back. We're winning. Boys are back.
They not them boys.
They're not them boys, and they're not back. Dak's timing is going to take a little while to get used to again. He hasn't even been able to really grip the football all too well. I mean, I know the commentators were talking on the Eagles game last week about, he looked really good in warm-ups, and he was in warm-ups.
Yeah. I don't like Dak either way. I think he's not the quarterback that all the Cowboys fans want him to be or think he is.
I mean, he's the man that the franchise paid the money to.
Yep. All right, so moving on to the over-under.
So the total's sitting here at 48 points. 61% of the tickets are on the over, but 68% of the money is on the under. Looking at the money line also, you have 89% of the tickets on Dallas money line, but 90% of the money on Detroit.
It makes sense that 90% of the money is on Detroit. I mean, you're going to have them plus, 265? Is that what it's showing? 230? Something like that, right?
Yeah, so it's showing Dallas is minus 323.
Yep.
But checking the book, looks like Detroit is plus $2.45.
Yeah, could you imagine, 90% of the money's on that? These people are looking for a payout because I think the books might have it wrong. I think Dak's going to come back looking rusty.
Definitely the spread could be wrong, but I mean to say that the Lions go into AT&T and beat up on the boys and come out with a victory against that defense.
Yeah,
I mean,
what if Dak is so rusty he's got 3 interceptions under his belt?
I believe the defense could hold Detroit's high-powered offense to 9 points.
Well, I wasn't really interested in this game, but after talking to you about it, I'm really interested now to see how this plays out. I think it's definitely going to be a fun one to watch.
It's definitely going to be a fun one to watch. And I mean, that's kind of like what I want the emphasis of this podcast to be about. Not necessarily, who we're going to take, although that's definitely going to be something that we keep track of. But, just having conversations that make you think or second guess, or maybe think twice, maybe not second guess, not the right phrase there, but maybe to double think or think twice about that.
And to really take stock into these games, really, just to have fun watching them too.
Exactly. I mean, it is a little more fun.
So moving on, we have the New York Football Giants, 5-1. I can't believe I'm saying that. Against the Jacksonville Jags, 2-4, coming off a loss in Indianapolis. Alec, let's hear the stats and tell me what you think.
So, Jacksonville sitting as 3-point home favorites, 63% of the tickets and 52% of the money currently lying on the Giants.
Yeah, rightfully so.
They did have a magnificent come-from-behind victory against Baltimore. Couple of turnovers at the very end of the game, that interception where they scored the touchdown, and then that strip fumble or the strip sack fumble on Lamar to seal the game. I was holding my breath thinking that they were going to punch in a touchdown, and then Saquon went down on the 1-yard line, bless his heart, and they just took a knee, nailed out the game.
Went out like gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Definitely didn't do what the Browns did.
They did the smart analytical play.
Yep.
You can't lose if you don't give up the football.
Yep.
Can't lose if you don't give up the football.
I think they learned that from what the Browns did.
But looking here, something to keep an eye on. 78% of the tickets on the over, total sitting at 42.5.
Yep.
51% of the money on the under.
What do you think? I'm thinking over as well. I think these teams are going to score and score a lot.
I do. So I like the Giants' defense at home.
Yeah.
I would look at maybe a first half total over, just because Jacksonville typically they always start hot. They typically always start hot, especially at home.
Yep.
And then they fade out the rest of the game. They let teams come back in. I mean, this is traditional Jacksonville. I know we're looking at a new team, new head coach, Trevor Lawrence in his second year. But I'm going off history and trends just off the top of my head there, and that's typically how those games play out. You have the Giants riding high off 2 come-from-behind victories 2 weeks in a row,
Yep.
1 in London, 1 at home. Now they're on the road in Jacksonville. And, I would look at a first half over.
Okay.
I don't know what the number is right now, but I'd be leaning that way. Looking at the money line, though, 52% of the money, 52% of the tickets have Jacksonville money line, currently sitting at $1.64. 68% of the money, though, is on the Giants money line as dogs here.
3-point dogs.
Do you think the Giants can win a third straight game outright as a dog?
I think they do.
You do?
I think they do. Honestly, It's Tuesday, but last week my dog lock were the Pats. My dog lock this week are the Giants.
Okay.
I'm confident saying that, and I would even honestly, I would take a 3-point spread depending on if there's more money won, if they're 3-point dogs today. And
I don't see this line moving in the direction of Jacksonville at all.
Yeah, no.
I believe it'll probably drop down to 2.5, 2. It may break down to a pick'em.
Yeah, and that's why I would take the 3 today.
I was about to say that. If you like the 3 and if you like the Giants right now, take it. This is where taking a game early could definitely play into your favor because I don't see this line being here later in the week.
No, not at all.
But other than that, it's about all I got to say about that game.
Yep.
Because we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't necessarily trust Jacksonville enough to have any sort of thoughts on what I think they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And, I want to say, when the dice is hot, you got to keep rolling with the shooter, right? And the Giants are shooting hot.
Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, they're rolling.
They're finding ways to get it done. And interestingly enough, I think you just got to keep playing them out. Interesting to see where this spread moves, though. On to the next game. We have another tough division game in an ugly division in the AFC South.
Yeah, probably one of the ugliest divisions in the league right now. Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's a 2.5 favorite.
Yep.
54% of the bets are on Indianapolis to cover, but 83% of the money is on Tennessee.
Yep. So think about this. Indianapolis is coming off of a come-from-behind victory against Jacksonville on the road. Jacksonville typically always plays the Colts very well, and historically, the Colts always play Tennessee very poorly.
Yep.
They struggle against Tennessee. But Tennessee themselves have not been looking great, but they are coming off of a bye.
Yeah. I think the bye is going to suit them well. Both teams are coming in 3-2, and I think they both know that they need to come out with the victory this week to not go 500 to stay over it. And plus, with it being a divisional game, this game could matter in the standings with how close it's going to be.
Remember, the Colts have a tie. They're 3-2-1.
Yeah.
Whereas Tennessee is 3-2. So that tie, I think you remember way back when the Steelers and
they got into the playoffs with the tie.
it was the Browns. Wasn't that like a week 4 game or something like that all them years back?
It honestly might have even been week 1.
Oh, maybe it was week 1.
I think it was week 1.
It
was week 1, 100%.
That tie, because it's winning percentage.
Yeah.
That gets you in the playoffs, and that tie helped the Steelers get there.
Yeah, so it's definitely a game Tennessee needs to win. Skipping over the over-under at the moment, 79% of the bets are on Tennessee money line, 57% of the money as well. And I think, a lot of people are pushing for Tennessee strictly because they're coming off a bye. Matt Ryan does not do good under pressure, and Tennessee, like you said, they play very well against Indianapolis. The defense is going to come in strong, and that's why Indianapolis struggles. I don't think they understand the severity of like a division game, or they don't play like it. You'll see the Jets when the Jets weren't good, right? When they were terrible, they still played their ass off and even beat New England a couple times during Brady's tenure. Like divisional games, you have to take a step up to really win out. And I don't see Indianapolis doing that. I think Tennessee takes this game all day.
Yeah, there is one thing in this total that's intriguing. Still early in the week, obviously, but you have the total opened at 42, sitting at 43.5. You have 51% of the tickets on the under, 51% of the money on the under.
I think it's under all day.
But typically with the market and the money, so if the money's on the under, the market should reflect that. So if it opened at 42, tickets and money's on the under, it should have dropped from 42 to 41.5.
Went up.
It went up. And things like that intrigue me. So I will be keeping my eye on this. Again, I don't know about any players, any injury statuses, if anyone's questionable playing, not playing, if someone's coming back. I guarantee you it's probably Jonathan Taylor upgraded to maybe playing.
Yeah.
So that could have something to do with that total moving up, even though the market doesn't show it in the money, because stuff like that does matter. But I would keep my eye on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably would just take Tennessee money line here. I'd pay 37 cents for 2.5 points here. I don't know about, could it be a 2-point game or something funky? There's always something in the NFL that ends up happening in these books with these computers and the way that
they know somehow.
It's always pretty dang close.
I'm not saying it's rigged, but they know.
Shit.
They know.
They have a good idea of what's going to happen or what can happen. I mean, if you run 10,000 simulations,
yeah,
you can get pretty dang close to what's going to happen. But that's enough of that. We'll move on to the next game.
Moving on. Coming off of a loss, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers away against the Washington Commanders with Taylor Heineke quarterback in the offense. Let's hear it.
This matchup is so disgusting.
Yeah.
I want to fade away from the Packers. They don't look like they're going to be getting it together this season. They lose Randall Cobb.
Special
have-
teams is still just dog water.
I don't know what I read a piece. I don't know how true it is because again, it was off of Facebook, and you can't trust everything you see
No,
on
you
Facebook.
can't.
But I saw this graphic that said Aaron Rodgers says that he plans to retire after the year.
Really?
I did. Haven't seen anything in any major
Didn't he
news
just
on
sign
it.
for 3-4 more years?
I mean, well, he did sign an extension, and I think it was for 3 years, but it was like 3 years on top of what he had left on his contract. So I don't
Yeah.
know how true the graphic is. But I know Aaron's not happy right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, he seemed okay. I watched him on the Pat McAfee show today. He seemed, he said things just really weren't turning. The Jets are a really good football team. He didn't make any excuses. He actually had a lot of good things to say about New York. I wouldn't say he alluded to anything that made him seem like he was going to retire. He did say he loves the game of football. He loves the fact that he watches a lot of tape and it's fun. So
again, you can't trust everything you see on the internet.
But
and I bet Salah clipped that take that he had on the Jets, and he's saving that one too.
Probably. But what you can trust on the internet, at least as of today, for the spread, Green Bay is favored by 5.5 points. 63% of the money. 63% of the tickets are on Green Bay. 74% of the money on them as well.
As you would definitely think so. I mean, when you see Packers, Commanders, what do you think? Who do you think's going to win? Who would you take?
100%. You got 41.5 is the over-under. 64% of the bets are on it to go under, and 89% of the money are on it as well. I think that's a fair bet with both of these teams playing poorly. Just with the over being as low as it is, but Green Bay being favored by 5.5 points, but playing poorly, it just makes me want to stay away from this game.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, Commanders look like they could potentially do something. Maybe we find something out with Heineke this week, and maybe Wentz was the problem.
That's what I want to see. That's why I'm staying away from it. I'm gonna take this as if it's like week 1 through week 4, really learning the trends, really seeing what's going on. I'm gonna see how Green Bay responds, and I want to see how Taylor Heineke plays. But I'm keeping all of my money away from this.
I 100% agree. We'll still touch on the money line percentages really quickly. 60% of the tickets, 76% of the money on Green Bay money line. Currently sitting at minus $2.27. No value in taking that. I mean, if you have a good 4-teamer and you wanted to throw Green Bay on there as a Packers fan, sure, you could bump your ticket up. But I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch and learn something about either the Packers or the Commanders, because you're going to learn something this week. You're going to either learn that Packers are resilient after losing 2 straight, and they're going to find that dog in them and fight, or you're going to learn that the Commanders, without Carson Wentz, are a better football team.
A lot better football team, I think.
But we are going to move on to the first game of the afternoon slate on Sunday.
Yep. New York Jets.
Yes, sir.
Against Denver, let's ride Broncos. And I got to tell you, I'm looking for a blowout, and I hope the Jets walk all over these Denver Broncos. I guess I wouldn't say I hope. I'm expecting it to happen.
I really hope to see the Jets just blow them out.
And I would say everybody agrees with us, at least as of right now.
You want to know why I don't think so, though?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because
Denver's defense is actually pretty good. They're at home. It's mile high. Jets play at sea level. Yep. That's a big factor.
That is a huge factor. Is the Jets' offense absolutely ridiculous? By no means no. They're very young, and they have talented players.
Yeah.
Breece Hall is that guy. But I don't necessarily think that the Jets will blow them out. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if that'll happen. Interesting. Let's just get into the numbers here
Yeah.
before we talk about
This
it anymore.
and this I want to bring. Let me
Yeah.
take this very quick. So Denver 2-point favorites, but 90% of the bets, 84% of the money on New York. I think everybody wants to see New York win this game, and everybody's expecting them to win this game, with their record being 4-2 and Denver being opposite at 2-4. You know, I don't know what the over/under is going to be. They're going to blow them out or not, but I think Jets all day. Jets, 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 Jets. They're winning this thing.
This might be if you think Jets money line, this might be another one of those spots where betting early might benefit you.
Yeah,
because later in the week or towards the weekend, this line might not be there. Also, it could definitely be sitting out of pick 'em.
Yeah, or
maybe
back to even. Yeah.
So pick 'em, or maybe even Jets -1 on the road, or that road dog to road favorite, something along those lines. Total is sitting at 39.5 though, and 81% of the tickets and 96% of the money is on the under. They don't think any points are going to be scored, and rightfully so, because Denver can't score many points.
Nope.
They average 16 points a game, which is just abysmal.
It's just field goals too. There's barely any
Cortland
touchdown.
Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Melvin Gordon and his fumbling issue, that's another thing. But, they got Latavius Murray, and he looked pretty decent against the Chargers. I just want to say that if you're high on the Jets, this might be another spot where taking them early in the week benefits you, because I don't think this number is going to be here. If you want to take a money line outright to win, you're going to get plus money. So now would be the time.
I think that's the third game this week where the dogs look solid. Like, that could be a great ticket. If you parlay those three, throw $20 on it just to see what you can get.
Out of the 8 games played between the morning and afternoon slate last Sunday, 5 of the 8 games were outright dog wins.
Yeah.
Crazy. We're at a crazy time in the NFL, and I definitely, truly believe that we are in the midst of a turning point where the teams that were not so great are going to be good, and the teams that have been good for the past decade or so are going to be on the downtrend.
Definitely a transition period.
But let's go ahead and let's move on to this next matchup. Not really anything too intriguing here.
No, you have Oakland coming off a bye week.
Not Oakland.
Ah, jeez Louise.
Talking.
All right. Nothing intriguing here. Yeah, you got Las Vegas Raiders coming off a bye week. They're 7-point favorites against the Houston Texans. They're definitely favorites. They're going to score a lot. I think they're going to smash Houston.
I think the total's not high enough.
At 45.5?
I don't think it's high enough. I think it should be 48.5.
To take an over?
No, I think that's where the book should have set the line.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't think the total's high enough. It says it opens here at 42, and it's been worked up to 45.5, and I think this is going to be one of those lines where, the market's going to continuously move the line up and up and up, and just it wasn't high enough. That definitely happens, in some weeks, and I think this is the game that's not right. But looking at where the spread is, right, you said 7 points favored for the Raiders. 73% of the tickets on the Raiders, 67% of the money on Houston to cover.
And that's baffling. I don't know one person personally that thinks Houston is, I think 7 points is a lot. I just don't see it. I see Oakland winning by 2 touchdowns at least.
Do you?
I do. They score. And against teams that are really bad, they blow them out.
One thing that I want to say, the reason why a lot of money is probably on Houston here is they cover spreads. They're 3-1
ATS. Yeah.
So has it been against the best teams? No. Are the Raiders the best team? No. They are definitely better than their record shows.
Yeah.
But there's kinks to be worked out. One thing I'm interested to see is Devontae going to be playing.
Yeah, that's a
That
big
could be
thing.
another thing.
There hasn't been anything about that recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, only the police report's been filed,
And he's got a lawsuit.
That's about it. I definitely like the Raiders. I would say, Raiders win. Is it even worth paying the $3 price on the money line? Absolutely not.
No.
Definitely going to be staying away from this one here.
Yeah, I see the only reason why you put them on a ticket is to like buff a parlay and you take them Raiders money line.
And maybe 6-point tease the Raiders down to 1.
That's fair.
That's about all I would see there. But let's move on. Oh, one thing I do want to say is, remember when I said, I would lean the Steelers, 8, move them up to 2 scores?
Yep.
And that just popped into my head.
We're
I
wrong.
love teasers. I mean, I love messing with teasers, like, just for fun. Every week,
You tease.
little $50 teaser, 4 teams, wins you $120. Just a little action, just some fun money.
You all about that action.
I'm all about that action. I love some fun money. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just say, speaking of action, I think we're gonna have a really good game. A lot of points scored. The over is at 51 points. We have Seattle at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, and Chargers sitting at 6.5-point favorites. And what's absolutely crazy is there is no money on the Chargers. They have 12% of the tickets and 7% of the money. You have 88% of the tickets and 93% of the money on Seattle plus 6.5.
That's wild. Seattle is 3-3 against the spread, so it could go either way.
And the Chargers are 4-2 against the spread.
Yeah, and what's with Seattle, some weeks they look like that. Geno Smith has got it down and he's solid. I mean, they just beat Kyler Murray and the Cardinals last week. Which
in a funky spot.
Yeah,
remember, because they have that short week where they play Thursday.
That's true. It wasn't really, I wouldn't say the and James Conner's out. But the Cardinals aren't necessarily who they were last season.
By any
right?
means.
So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they beat the Cardinals. But Seattle looks good, they look bad. Then they look good, then they look bad. And their 3-3 record shows they're 3-3 against the spread. I think this could go either way, and that's what deters me from putting money on this game. Do I like the over? I think it'll go over. However, this game is so 50-50 for me. I'd rather stay away.
It's a lot of points. It is a lot of points. 51. You have 67% of the tickets on the under, but 54% of the money on the over. Yet the totals dropped 2 points from where it says it's opened here at 53.
Yeah, I would like it. I think if it drops, either tease it down or
Get it at a 45.
If it drops to, like I was going to say, 45 to 47.5, I would take the over on that.
I don't see the market moving this game down.
You don't?
No, the Chargers' defense is not great. Seattle can put up points against poor defenses. And Seattle's defense themselves away from home is not great at all.
Okay.
So I don't see this total moving down. I just think the safe play would be to tease it down yourself and get it at 45. And you could see a 28-24 game. I mean, that would be the 52 right there.
Yep.
I think that's around where it's at. Maybe 27-24 game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
You got 52% of the tickets on the Chargers money line. They're sitting at $2.78 favorites. There's no action or no statistics yet on where the money percentage is lying on this game. But again, we'll look at it. Not the highest on my radar this week. I still have to go through my book, and I still have to look at the trends for every team. Look at who they're playing next week.
Mm-hmm.
Who did they just play last week? Are there any trends in that? So without doing the homework, I would probably just lean at taking, the total over that 45 on its user.
Okay.
Interesting matchup here, though. You got the Kansas City Chiefs on the road
against the San Francisco broke-ass Niners.
Broken-ass Niners. And there is no money on the Niners.
Nope. You got 84% of the tickets and 97% of the money on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sitting currently at 3-point favorites on the road. Total, however, has dropped.
Interesting enough. Go for it.
66% of the tickets on the over, 63% of the money on the over.
48.5.
it opened at 50.5, dropped down to 48.5, and my question then leads to why. You just seen a Atlanta offense that is not as good as the Chiefs put up 28 points against this team. I mean, San Francisco's at home. I think they can put up more than 14 points at home.
I can see a lot of people putting money on the over. Obviously, the majority is. But I think that's because Kansas City's going to blow them out 35-14, something like that.
35-14.
That puts you at 49, right? Like
it's right on the number.
It's right on the number. I mean, Kansas City's got to score 5 times against San Francisco.
I mean, without looking at any trends, anything like that, I see Kansas City -3, and I'm like, Kansas City -3, you can just buy a half point, maybe get that thing at -120, 2.5. I mean, I trust Kansas City by a field goal.
We're leaving that in. I like that.
Any day of the week. I trust Kansas City by 2.5 any day of the week.
Yeah, and so does everybody else because with them being favorites, there's 93% of the tickets and 92% of the money on them for the money line.
Interesting to see the AFC West versus NFC West. I'm sure there's history in matchups and trends there. I will keep an eye out on that. Right now, I definitely would lean Kansas City by the spread. Maybe the under. Maybe because think about it. If not Kansas City, I don't know why I keep saying them, but if San Francisco falls behind, they are not a good team. They are a running team.
Yeah,
they are a run-first team, and it is hard to come back, especially in NFL, when all you can do is run the ball.
Yep.
But on that note, we will move on to the next game.
Yep. Next 2 games, we got Sunday night, Monday night. We didn't get into these last week, but I think because we're not doing locks, I kind of want to touch base on them.
Yeah.
Especially because my Pittsburgh Steelers are playing Sunday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins, who are supposed to have Tua back.
I mean, your prediction of the new no Tua, no Teddies, no Tutties, I mean,
spot on.
That was pretty spot on.
Spot on.
However, Teddy did end up coming back into the game. He was cleared to play. He just wasn't the starter. He did come into play, and he did throw a Tutty. He looked all right.
Singular. Tuddy.
He looked all right.
Tuddy. I said Tuddies.
He looked all right,
though. He had one.
Just tough spot. Vikings really never let them come back into the game, and Vikings, like we said, just had too much talent.
Yeah,
for Miami in that spot.
But speaking of talent, Kenny Pickett goes out with a concussion last week. As of what I've seen on SteelerNation.com, as of this morning actually, is that Trubisky is named the starter. So, as a Steeler fan, do I see us winning this game? No. Neither does anybody else because with Miami being 7-point favorites, you got 56% of the tickets and 74% of the money on the Miami Dolphins to win. Tua at quarterback and the wide receivers that they have. I said last week that Tom Brady and his receiving core were going to throw all over us. It didn't happen, but I'm still sticking with that this week. I think you're going to see not exactly, but almost what Josh Allen and the Bills did to the Steelers. You're going to see the Dolphins do the same thing.
They have speed.
Yeah.
They got Tyreek. They have
which we don't have. We have Minka, but Minka can't play all parts of the field.
I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Pittsburgh's going to be riding high off that victory against Tom. They're feeling good.
Yep.
But
feeling good, so they prepare less, and they just lose.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they're preparing less, but it definitely feels different.
Yeah, I mean, when I say preparing less, what I mean by that is Chase Claypool's probably making a little too many TikToks and not reading this playbook and catching reads like he should be.
Okay. Absolutely. Let's see. Taking a look at the total, hasn't moved since the open. It's sitting at 44.5. 52% of the tickets on the under, 62% of the money on the over. And does Pittsburgh have any chance of forcing any turnovers here? Are they going to get pressure to the quarterback?
I think
are they be able to contain?
I think Tua coming back, he could potentially be a little rusty. Taking 2 concussions in a matter of 4 days could also make him a different player. So maybe that. The only way I see this game going, and this is just going to be a wild prediction, I'm not a time traveler if this comes true, but I see it being like a 19-12 game. Pittsburgh getting all field goals. I don't see Trubisky throwing a touchdown. And if he does, maybe one. So that puts us at like a 19-13 game. I don't see.
So you think Miami's only going to put up 19 points?
I think Tua is going to be a little rocky, and I like the under on this one. 52% of the bets are liking the under as well. I just even if they score more than 19, I don't see this going over 44.5 with just for the fact that Tua is just coming back. Trubisky is at quarterback for the Steelers. It's not going to be as fun as if it would have been a healthy Tua and a healthy Kenny Pickett.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Looking at the money line, though, you have 64% of the tickets and 77% of the money on Pittsburgh.
It's a little crazy.
The Steelers fans just blindly throwing their money in the garbage can is what it is.
You know what? You do it all the time.
I just had
San Francisco 4.5.
I just gotta poke the bear with that one.
San Francisco 4.5.
Hey man, I told you. I said I will own that one. I thought
Commanders Bears over.
I'm taking the Thursday game over this weekend too. I'm fading it again.
Shit.
I'm fading again. Not every fade of the public's going to be correct. Again, what the product on the field does matter. Let me just re-emphasize that from the beginning of the show because it matters. It matters so much.
I think I got you on that for sure. But
let's talk about this last game of Week 7. It is the Monday night slate.
Yep.
And, it's my Patriots against the Chicago Bears. We're at home. New England's sitting as 8-point favorites.
Rightfully so.
78% of the tickets are on the Pats to cover the 8. 83% of the money. You have the total sitting at 39.5. It opened at 38.5. 57% of the tickets on the under, 90% of the money on the under, but the spread went up.
Yeah, it went up a whole point.
Justin Fields is an under quarterback. Our defense is actually looking pretty decent the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I like this game under, but then again, you think an under, and then these teams just come out looking completely different than anything you've seen in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and with 39.5, it leaves me. That's low to where I think this could be a 28-14 game. I mean, you just saw New England put up a lot of points last week against Cleveland. Chicago did not score a lot against the Commanders last week.
They missed opportunities.
But exactly, and I think this week, if they even capitalize on one of them, you got a 28-7 game. That puts us at 35. Maybe there's a field goal or two in there. You're over that 39.5. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to make it a lock, but it is something that I might look into.
You're looking at fade in the public here?
I think we go over 39.5.
Okay.
Just slightly, but I think it's a possibility.
Okay.
I definitely think the Pats money line all day. I mean, is the money there? Is it worth it?
There's no value in it.
Not really.
Minus $3.57.
If it's one of those things, me being a parlay bettor, I love my parlays. So if it's something where you want to add just a couple $100 on your 5-teamer,
could be a middle though. This could be a middle spot.
Yeah.
So you have 94% of the tickets on Patriots money line, but 71% of the money on Bears money line. Are they? I mean, I don't have the number right in front of me. I'm going to look it up. With looking at New England as minus $3.50 favorites, I would say they're probably plus 295, 285 on the money line. Let's pull up the game and actually take a look here, and they're plus $3.
Wow.
I don't think Vegas is going to want to pay that out on a Monday night primetime game.
No, I don't think so. And I think again,
could be a middle spot where
New
Bears
England
cover the spread.
As New England are 3-3. As 50-50 that their record shows, they don't play poorly. Every week they come out playing solid. Yeah. Especially you haven't seen Bailey Zappi do something wrong. Not yet.
He's doing the job that he's been given. He's following Bill's direction.
Yep.
One could say he's doing maybe not with the same intensity or passion. I don't know much about Zappi. But he's doing what Tom did.
Yeah.
He's doing what Tom did, and he's filling his role.
Yep, 100%. And that's what I like out of the New England Patriots this year. I think all day Patriots are taking this. And again,
It's just about do your job.
yeah.
Do your job. And
Is it worth?
I was very low on the Patriots this year. I'm not even gonna lie. I actually made a bet with Malik. He's a Patriots fan also. I made a bet that the Raiders would have a better record than the Patriots. Bet $100 on that.
Jeez.
That's just how low I was on the Patriots this year. I didn't think we would be putting out a good football team.
Well, proving you wrong. I wish my Steelers would prove me wrong.
Ooh, but that does end the slate here.
It wraps us up for the week. Week 7, NFL bets and breakdowns.
We will be back later in the week, not necessarily in this format with the confirmed picks, because we still are tracking Gage's picks. What were you, 3-2 last week?
3-2, and then if you look at my fun parlay that I did, the little 5-teamer, I ended up going 4-1 on that. So 7-3 out of all the picks, which not bad. I think I need to take a lesson out of your rule book and just start doing straight bets, because if I would have placed 55, let's say 55 to win 50 on all of them, right?
You're profitable.
I'm profitable, right? And I'm 7-3. So do I move that way this week?
You could have if you still want to parlay, you could still throw fun teasers, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's definitely what I'm going to end up doing parlay-wise. Am I going to switch to your method of madness? Maybe. We'll tell you next week.
But yeah, no, until then, I just want to take this time to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day to watch and support our channel. We are still working on getting the podcast onto Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you want to go ahead, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you're leaning towards or any locks that you have. And then we're going to throw Gage's confirmed picks on Better's Bet Show on YouTube, so we can track him there. I'll also throw his picks down below too, because we track mine and Moxie's picks down in the ticker.
Okay.
I will add you down to the ticker. We will start tracking your picks weekly now too, since you're in there. And
I do want to say, out of my 5 locks, I think I'm going to take the 3 dogs that I like this week.
Okay.
So, I think it's going to be a big payout. Last week, you saw 5 dogs win out of the 8 morning games, as you stated. I think we're going to get at least 3 out of them this week.
Let's take a look. But guys, again, thank you so much. And until next time, thanks for watching. And remember, we bet better.